we asked you on social media, what's your favorite gaming soundtrack? Let's talk about it. He's not a drum. What's up, human beings? Welcome to another Question of the Week video here on the Games and Groceries channel. Every single week on our Instagram and on Twitter, we ask you a question every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just a question on the social media pages. You, of course, can follow us at Gaming Groceries on Twitter and Games and Groceries, all one word, on Instagram. But this week's Question of the Week was, what are some of your favorite gaming soundtracks and or scores in video games? So we have a good amount of answers here. Thank you all for answering, and thank you all for being a part of these little questions of the week. So let's just get started with our first answer.
All right, so our first answer comes from Instagram from Keep Pluggin, and they say Twilight Princess and Celeste, which I know you love Celeste.
I love Celeste's soundtrack. It's old school but new school at the same time. And Celeste is that kind of game where it's the games of old but brought into modern day. And the soundtrack you can just listen to over and over again, and it fits the theme of it. Twilight Princess, I haven't had a chance to play too much of this game. I'm still trying to find it on GameCube. But I know all of Zelda's soundtracks can be phenomenal at times. But great answers. By the way, Keep Pluggin. Met them at LA Retro. Super cool guys. So thanks for answering, man. So our next answer comes from Volt Supreme, which, by the way, is going to be our next podcast guest. So keep your eyes open for that one. But Volt Supreme has this to say. Too many to mention. I already agree with you. Too many to mention. But Hyper Light Drifter by Disaster Piece and everything else he does is amazing. I'll also add Sigma Harmonics or anything by Masashi Hamauzu. All of his scores are 11 out of 10. So I like how he's crediting the artist here, because a lot of us take the OSTs of a lot of games and we don't really credit the artist. But Masashi Hamauzu, of course, was the composer behind Final Fantasy 13, which you also do talk about a little bit later on. But Final Fantasy also has great soundtrack. A lot of you answered Final Fantasy, but crediting the artist is always awesome. But I completely agree with you. He also tagged Masashi, so give this guy some love. Add back him, man. Do it.
Our next answer comes from @StoryEverPod, and they say Night in the Woods and Life is Strange. I listen to both of those all the time, which we can definitely agree. Life is Strange. We talk about that constantly. In fact, this might become a Life is Strange channel because all of you who are watching are pretty big Life is Strange fans. Well, we kind of demand it.
Well, yeah. But I actually never played Night in the Woods. I know about it, and I've always wanted to start playing it. I don't know why I just haven't started playing it yet, because it seems like my type of game. I see it on sale all the time, and I just never buy it. But apparently...
Now we know the music is phenomenal.
Yeah, I love good games with good music, so I'm always game for a good game.
You're an idiot.
Oh. So this answer comes from Just the Story, a video game podcast, which... great new podcast you should check out, by the way. But she says, Life is Strange Before the Storm, yes. And Raccoon, I hope I'm saying that right. And I have to admit that I regularly sing the ending song to Portal. This was a triumph. I'm making a note here. Huge success. And I totally agree. Portal's music, especially the final music, it was very satisfying and also very funny. Like, I don't know, it just left you with a good note in mind. But yeah, I agree that Life is Strange, but also Before the Storm has almost underrated soundtrack and music, scores. I absolutely love the Before the Storm soundtrack. I have the vinyl upstairs, but I won't waste your time by getting it. But I absolutely love that vinyl. I listen to it all the time. Yeah. But great answers.
Our next answer comes from @GameTill5, and they said, so hard to choose. Zelda, Ocarina of Time, and Final Fantasy 7 and 8 are high up there for me. The Last of Us soundtrack is also a favorite.
Yeah.
From Nikki.
So whenever I play The Last of Us, that's a game where I take the music for granted because it's eerie, but it can make you unsettled, and that's the thing. it does its job with what it does.
Yeah.
It doesn't try to outdo the game. It does its job just like that. Final Fantasy music, of course, Final Fantasy 7 and 8 are very well done orchestral numbers. I love Final Fantasy music, as well as if you saw the hashtag on this very question of the week, I think I said to the state of like, hashtag, Zelda music is going to make this list. And we already have 2 answers that have Zelda in it. So very good choices right there. So highly agree with that. So then we have Nikki's answer, which is all of Life is Strange, obviously, which I totally agree with. I mean, Life is Strange has good music, but wait, hold on. There's actually more. Also, Mass Effect, The Legend of Zelda, Skyrim. Journey's really great too. The Last of Us, the music you can listen to on the radio in Fallout, all of Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Redemption 2. I love video game soundtracks so much. I mean, I agree. I mean, you can't really choose one because video game music has that special place where it's part of the development, it's part of the experience. Yeah. You can't just list one. The one I really agree with is the music you can listen to on the radio and Fallout music is, I always listen to that in the car. Yeah. It's phenomenal, but great answers all the way around.
So this answer comes from @GrumpyDadGamin1.
What's up, man?
And they say, playing through Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, and oh my goodness, I forgot how incredible this is. Also, Final Fantasy VI and Final Fantasy VII, Xenogears, and one that I love that a lot of people don't is I Am Setsuna, which I've never played any of these, and I've never even heard of I Am Setsuna or Xenogears, so yeah. Your comment on it would be?
Well, I know you want to get into Final Fantasy because when you got the Switch, you were looking at some, and I was just thinking that like they're really, Final Fantasy is a commitment to play. Yeah. But the music is phenomenal. Yeah. Like it's really good. It's if you like orchestral music, Final Fantasy is one of those, especially the remastered ones. I believe Final Fantasy X, I don't know if it's all the remastered ones, but you have a selection of a remastered soundtrack, but you can also choose the original soundtrack as well. So I like how it gives you that option. But yeah, great answers all around. Final Fantasy music all around. I totally forgot to put that in the hashtag, but I knew Zelda would make the mix. But
yeah, Final Fantasy, definitely.
Final Fantasy is one of those like really legendary soundtracks in the video game world. And finally, we have Cito's Sweet Home, which is At Plastic Demos Bound OST is lovely. I also love Life is Strange and Cuphead especially. Now he gave the original soundtrack for Bound, and I took a good look at it, and it reminds me of Hugh's soundtrack, which we played here on the or I did play it on the channel, but which I will have linked up there if you want to check it out. But it's an unsettling hue. It's a really beautiful soundtrack. I listened to a couple tracks on it. I'm like, you know what? I really like this. I have never played Bound, but I really like the soundtrack. But of course, Life is Strange and Cuphead was another one that's I think one of the biggest compliments you can give Cuphead is that because you have to play the levels over and over and over again, surprisingly the music you never get tired of. So you hear the same music, but it's just composed so well that you never get sick of it. So I think Cuphead was composed beautifully. So before we get to our answers, we want to hear from you guys who are watching. Comment down below. What are some of your favorite gaming soundtracks and your favorite OSTs? Whatever we want to say, but comment down below. We want to hear from you. We have Final Fantasy, we have the Zeldas, we have the Life is Strange, but what did we miss? Comment down below. We want to hear from you. So that brings it to us. Let's start with you, Liz. What is some of your favorite gaming soundtrack and scores? Please surprise us all.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Life is Strange.
Of course.
I really love calming, mellow music.
Yeah.
So the music in Life is Strange series as a whole, I mean, in all the games, they keep it pretty mellow. Yeah. So those, of course. But then Nikki's answer at Commander Nikki, when she said the music in Fallout that you can play on the radio, I remember I love that. Yeah. I actually have a Pandora station of like doo-wop music, which is a lot of the time played the same songs. Yeah. So definitely that music. I love that music. It's just it's so funny because like I like the Life Strange because it's mellow, but I also like the Fallout music because it's like happy and uppity and fun. Like, it's just
when you're
the music
in the
you just like go jump to, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Pretty much.
those two. I've never played Fallout, but the music in it I enjoy.
I have to go with a soundtrack. Well, one, I love Pokemon's soundtrack, of course, like Pokemon Blue and Yellow and the old school ones. But the one that I just keep coming back to in Spotify that I always play is Oxenfree's soundtrack. I don't know what it is about it. It just draws me to it. I can be just walking to work. I could be in the gym. I could be just doing anything. And I absolutely love hearing Oxenfree's soundtrack. It could be because I beat the game 30 times and I don't want to stop, but there you go.
You just listen to music and you can play the game in your head.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I played so many times that, like, I could just listen to the soundtrack and I'm just playing the game while I'm just listening to the music. But Oxenfree is definitely one of those soundtracks I just keep coming back to. And of course, Skyrim soundtrack I'm absolutely in love with, but definitely Oxenfree is up there for me. And hopefully After Party takes that title from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good game.
All right, so those were our answers for what our favorite soundtracks and scores in video games are. And again, comment down below, let us know what your answers are. What are your favorite soundtracks and scores in a video game? And thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and share. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you get notifications when we put up new videos like this in the podcast and Let's Plays. And just as a reminder, we're playing through Life is Strange chronologically, so definitely check those out. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye!